Hi guys, welcome to TFSL TV. It's my week off, so we're getting a video a day at the moment. Yesterday I came back and obviously Mick had left, and then we did a little show, an impromptu show with Dunks, Ash and Ian. I just literally found out within probably an hour or two of that show that Mick had left and all the rest of it. So everything's sort of the dust settled now. I'm very, very disappointed Mick's left. I'm very disappointed he left all the game rules and didn't say anything. But I want to say, all the best and good luck to Mick. He's a good guy and no hard feelings. And we move on. We move on. It's a bit sad, but it's an intense competitive game world, and I think at times people can get a bit too involved or take things to heart sometimes, and it's a game. No, from my point of view, it's never personal, but I enjoy all the banter and all the rivalries that are being established, but it's not for everybody, and some people don't. But I think it's good, and I think as long as people know that you've got your SM hat on and nothing is personal and it is all in the game, I think people should embrace it, and it can make a game world and it can really enhance it. We don't want a wishy-washy game world where everyone just pays each other fake compliments. I certainly don't. You want a living, breathing, pumping sort of game world that's got something about it, and I think TFSL has. There's enough characters in there and it's got an edge now, and I like that. But obviously some people, there's a fine line when things cross over, but really what's happened lately that's upset anyone enough to leave? If we're doing videos, I think people have got to be honest, and if you're doing panel shows or you're asked a question by Dunks, you've got to answer it honestly. Otherwise, what's the point? You've got to be yourself. Otherwise, it's all a bit fake. And I think the rivalries are good, by the way, and especially in Division 1. So that was all I wanted to say on the matter. But what did cross my mind was, we've had a couple of spates of losing managers. We want losing managers, telling managers to go. But then you lose one or two managers as well along the way that you'd rather keep, Kev, Mick. No one wants them to leave, but what others sitting there on their laptops or their phones, where in part of the world that you are, what you think's going on. Because half the time I haven't got a clue either. I'm not at the forefront of everything. I'm in the dark as well, like a lot of you sometimes. But I would say this. I said the other day the game world's in its healthiest place ever. And although it's a blow to lose Mick, we go on. And I thought I would do a video today. And I've called it 10 Reasons to Love TFSL. And just to, there's a lot of positive stuff. And maybe we could focus on that for once. And so I just thought I'd list them all. I've written it down on a nice bit of paper. The first one, number one, this is 10 Reasons to Love TFSL. Number one, we have 80 managers, all real people, all active in the game world. Socially active's another matter, and some of them, in my opinion, are not, but all 80 managers are active. And the majority of the managers now are signed up to the Facebook group. There's 3 or 4 that are not. And more managers are sort of coming up with the confidence to do the vids. So that's the first one. The Game World owner, James Murray. In my opinion, we have a fantastic Game World owner. I love what he did yesterday. The trickle sort of management thing just didn't go. It's different. And he's always coming up with new things and different innovative ideas. I say that about James. He's definitely an ideas man, and I appreciate that. James is really the custodian of a madhouse and some very interesting and mad characters. And so you need someone like James. And I think he said to me once, this is like EastEnders, but this is enough. But he's a really good guy. I love his sense of humour, and I share the same values as him about game world. So Nick Dunks, in the last 4 or 5 months, well, since he's joined TFSL, I think Dunks has gone up maybe 2 or 3 levels, especially in terms of how vital and important he is to the community and how important he is. He's a little bit nicer than I am. So he's probably not going to upset people on the regular basis that I might. Just the enthusiasm and the drive to keep recruiting new people is very good. I think a lot of people may be lacking in confidence or whatever when they see with Dunks. I think it's a real big help because he can sort of calm people and reassure them and all the rest of it. He's a genuinely nice guy, and I would love to meet James and Dunks for a beer in real life one day. I really would. Nearly lost my iPad. So I'd love to meet. These are the kind of people I'd really like to meet in real life. That I regard them as friends. Number 4, the core members of TFSL. I could go through maybe 50, 60 names that are invaluable. It'll take me ages. You know who you are. You know, from Gino with all his Division 3 posts to people like Ian Imber, the managers of the Big 6 clubs. People like Daniel Hughes, Gerard, Nick Justice, Richie, Phones. God, I could go on and on and on. Gareth Chris, Paul Crowther, David. Lots and lots and lots and lots of managers that post every day, Ash, that are really, really important and highly valued. So big love to all of you. So we have a really nice group, I think. Number 5 is the Facebook group. I can only speak for TFSL because I'm not in NYT and I'm not in TFF anymore. Although I understand NYT's, I think they're running parallel. There's 2 games. There's not a lot in it. So I'm not. The only way I can even begin to describe it is it's like an ongoing 24-hour Sky Sports thing, and which actually is a good thing because we've got managers all over the world in different time zones. So managers are logging on at any given time. There's something happening. Yesterday's a prime example. Me and Nick Justice are having a bit of banter with a player. You know, we're just having a laugh, posting, and I'm thinking, oh, that's a busy day. I'm putting in a couple of posts. A really good post has been dwarfed. It's been put down at the bottom because constantly there's things happening. I've been in the Facebook group and the game world. It is a real community, and it's difficult to explain to people who. Number 6, the new additions. The new additions that come in. It's really fantastic when they come and embrace the game world and sort of get stuck in straight away. And obviously I'm watching all the time because I'm thinking, well, if they can do it in this game world, then they could do it in this game world. And suddenly the door can open and they can have the keys to the kingdom, and suddenly they can have 4 or 5 lovely game worlds at their disposal if they want. I don't want to single people out, but Danny Insall looks like a really, really top lad, and if only we could find a few more Danny Insalls, because that is really what it's all about. He seems like a really good guy. Love his enthusiasm. I think all the new guys. I mean, Mark Preston, Paul Harrington, Kieran, and all the guys that have been recruited in the past. They've really, really come in and enhanced TFSL. In my opinion, they've helped take it to another level. Number 7. I think we're on number 7, aren't we? Yeah, number 7. The different features in the newsfeed in the Facebook group. So, for example, I love what Bogdan does. That must take hours. This is someone's time. Paul Crowther does a discipline thing. Gerard does a golden boot thing. David Garver manager thing, you know what I mean, where managers can. There's like a different league table for managers performing according to the resources they have and all the rest of it. These are great, aren't they? And you all love you're all a very appreciative bunch when new people come and try something. No one gets shut down. Anyone's welcome to come up with new ideas. I think it's a pretty safe community in that respect. Whatever you do is going to be well received and well supported, and it is appreciated, and because it is people's time. But then again, I think people do it because they've got a genuine, and there's lots of others. You know, look at Gino's write-ups in the Facebook group. They're just off the top of my head. I love all the rivalries going. Standard of the game world. Maybe you guys can offer your opinion. In my opinion, there can't be many game worlds harder than this on Soccer Manager. If there are, I don't know about them, but this is a highly, highly competitive game world, and the standard's good. There's no mugs now. The trophies ever. Rather than some of these managers that have got 400 trophies, but they earned them all in half-field game worlds. In the words of Brian Clough, you might as well chuck them all in the bin because they're not worth anything. Whatever you achieve in a game world like TFSL, surely it's going to mean you the most. What are your priorities? I would imagine for a lot of you, TFSL would be right up there as your priority. And obviously 1 or 2 other game worlds as well. But TFSL, I think, is it's a really good barometer of how good a manager is. If you can do it here, you can do it anywhere. That's what I think. Number 9, I think the mix of teams would always make Fusion that little bit different from any other game world. You know, hence why it's a fusion. We've got Scottish, Irish, and Welsh. I think some of the Scottish and Irish teams have got good managers, and I'd be interested to see what TFSL will look like in season 5, season 10. It would be interesting to see if any of the small Scottish, Irish teams can rise. There's a challenge. That's why I loved being at Crusaders, and that's why I was also interested in Dundee. Had it been a Burton or a Shrewsbury, I wouldn't have been interested. I liked part of what I interested me was running a non-English team and seeing if you can. And then the last one I've picked out, another reason to love TFSL, is the waiting list. I did actually stop because it was getting ridiculous. We had 18 at one point, but I'm going to get back on it again because you never know when you need a good manager. And I look at the waiting list is fantastic. These are people that are waiting 3-4 months. They do watch. Some of them do watch videos. They do. Sometimes they like posts, and they just sit there waiting patiently because they want to get in. And that's fantastic. And that helps make the game world strong as well. That if we ever do have a rainy day, we've got the backup. And I think that's good to know for TFSL that the game world is solid. Okay, so we do unfortunately lose 1 or 2 people, as all game worlds do anyway. And a couple of times we've had big recruitments. The big one was in October, I think, and then we had a mini one just recently. I don't really sign off and then replace. And as I said to you the other day in the video last night, I posted something in the Facebook group the other day that all of the managers had logged in within 24 hours, and I've never seen that before. But so it's not all doom and gloom. And